is now investigating Penny Sparrow. The Minister of Human Settlements, Lindiwe Sisulu, requested the probe after Sparrow's recent racist Facebook post. And the board met with her former employer, Giles Properties, earlier today. CEO of Choprop, Yusuf Essa, joins us on Newsnight now. This is an independent company, but he is registered with the Estate Agency Affairs Board. Good evening to you and welcome to Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
I'm wondering what goes through your mind when you hear a story like this, and attached to a story like this are claims of how people have been maltreated when they're looking for properties or trying to get leases and so on, the kind of racial profiling that comes along with it. When you see a public utterance like this for somebody who is a member of your profession.
Well, in saying that, look, it's plain to see that racism still exists, but like anywhere in the world, like anywhere in South Africa, in every industry, it's there, but it's not everybody. When we started off our business about 9 years ago, we were subjected to racism as well. We had certain sellers that refused to deal with us. We had certain professionals that refused to deal with us. Certain buyers too. But over the period of time, we managed to overcome that and I think establish some sort of a means of trust with our clients, and we've managed to overcome that. So yes.
You deal in a very tactile way with members of the public, and I imagine through the course of your work here, a lot of their stories. We've heard a lot of people talk about racial profiling, about people asking what race you are, depending on which areas you're wanting to find a property in. Do you hear a lot of those stories?
Absolutely. Look, I think we do have them from time to time, but with regard to the code of conduct of the board, they are not just the code of conduct of the board. There's the Estate Agency Affairs Board of 1976. It was actually almost 40 years old. So I think that also needs some updating too. But in saying that, I think there could be also constitutional violations too as well. So I think. There is mixed feelings on that, but it's definitely not acceptable, and we are not allowed to discriminate.
So you would say, though, based on what you just said, that transformation has to be accelerated at the level of the Estate Agency Affairs, or the approach, their laws can be updated after.
The Estate Agency Affairs Board has got a new initiative that they started off about a year ago. If I'm not mistaken, it's One Learner, One Agency program, but in saying that, our business in 9 years, when we started off, there was a lack of property professionals from the emerging market and previously disadvantaged communities. We found that, of the 45,000 estate agents that are in this country, only 10% are black. It's a 5 trillion rand industry, which contributes towards 15% of the gross domestic product. And it's plain to see that it's a buoyant market, and we need to get and influence more professionals to get involved in this buoyant industry.
And so there's a monopoly, you would say?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we heard, of course, that the Minister of Human Settlements has now asked the EAAB to look into this matter. I understand a meeting would have taken place, and I'm not sure if you've heard.
I believe the outcome hasn't taken place. I don't know if any outcome is yet, but I think the board will make a decision and look at what's going on as far as whether there's any constitutional violation, whether there's any code of conduct violation, whether there's any violation in terms of the Estate Agency Act of 1976.
And in your experience, what are the potential censures?
Well, an agent can be disbarred. An agent obviously could be fired from, be it a franchisee office or a franchisor office. There's certain instances like scenario in this case where you could have brought a agency to disrepute. So I think there's many implications as far as the board is concerned. There could be a fine imposed, they could be disbarred, and there's various things that could turn out depending on the violations that have been proven.
You talked about starting your business 9 years ago in a context where it was very difficult to establish. There was a lot of opposition and obstacles in your way. What is the conventional wisdom for companies like yourself, black-owned companies, that are trying to make it in this arena?
Perseverance and the will to survive. I think that's what's done for us. We've just persevered and we work through it.
Should government be coming in?
I think government is offering certain support. I do believe they're looking for certain ways to expedite the transformation process in the industry, because it is the industry that lacks the most amount of transformation. For an industry that just has 8 or 10%. For the previously disadvantaged market, it's clearly we have a long way to go.
All right, thanks for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. CEO of Choprop.